When should you take Social Security? Should you take it at 62 as soon as you can, or should you hold out as long as possible? Well, great news, folks. Somebody I trust has done the math. He's given you the assumption, and he has the answer. All right, Taylor, Life Goal Investments. When should I take Social Security?
Yeah, so it's a little bit person by person, but directionally the answers all lead to the same thing, and that is take Social Security on the first date that you could possibly take it, 62 years old.
As soon as you can. Now, why is that? You're basically saying, I'm not going to be collecting as much money as I could because the check goes up the longer I wait. Why, how can that make sense to me, Taylor? I don't get it.
Yep. Yeah. So delayed gratification. That's what finance tells us all to do, right?
Yeah, it's 2 marshmallows. I want 2 marshmallows, not 1.
That's it. That's it. So I looked at my Social Security, and just to wrap some numbers around it, and I'm off the cuff in this a little bit, but it was something like my monthly benefit is expected to be $2,800 and change if I take it at 62. If I take it at 67, which is full retirement age, it's all the way out at like $4,100, which sounds like this relatively big gap between $2,800 per month and $4,100 per month.
Yeah, that's like 50% rough and tough.
Yeah. So when you run the numbers, though, the break-even age just for the cumulative dollar collected doesn't hit until I'm 79 years old. Right.
So there's a back.
So I actually would look at those numbers and without running calculation, I'm like, dang, that's a big increase. And I'm going to hold off on that. And I think that's what a lot of people do. But when you run the actual data, most people break even between 77 and 80. And so for context there, like, not for nothing, the average age of an American right now on the male side of things is 75 at death. It's a little older than that than females, but nonetheless, you're not breaking even.
Yeah, that's the wrinkle. And again, this is just straight up math. So folks, if you don't know what he did there, he basically said if I was 62 years old and I was collecting, I forget what it was, $2,800, you collect that every month. And then, oh, by the way, if you do the other side of that, you start collecting at 69. So basically you've had 5 years of collecting $2,800, which is 5 times 12 is 60. So you've collected 60 payments. And then the break even for the much bigger number to catch up, because you're still clipping 2,800 versus 41. It takes you until you're 79. Right. That's just math. But what you did in your, I'm going to say TikTok and Instagram post, which is why I brought up this topic, is if you go one step further and you assume some kind of, I think it was 8% return on your money, you never catch up. Never, ever catch up.
Yeah.
That's wild.
400 years old, you don't catch up. So I said the actual assumption that I did was 7%. And 7% is very doable. And I think without stretching, and that's based on not just the current market assessment, but also the market assessments that you look back over centuries. 7% is a very tangible number. And so if you don't need the money, it's like, okay, well, then let's not take it and hold off, right? No. If you don't need the money, take it, invest it, get that 7% rate of return.
That's what I thought it was wild, right? Because again, I know someone who is over 62 and they've chosen not to take it because, again, they don't need the money.
Right.
Well, again, if you don't need the money, put it in a freaking account making 7% and you'll never catch up. When you said that in your Instagram post, I'm like, holy shit, people don't know this.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know a lot of people that are gonna be like, I don't need the money. I got this. I got that. No, take it, sock it away, and it'll be part of your inheritance. It's crazy that math works that way.
And there's a couple other areas of pushback. So I'll go so far as to say, like, if I wasn't legally obligated, I would have never put $1 into Social Security. So, and there's a couple reasons for that. So like right now with the current, and this is from the SSA.gov website. So the SSA.gov website says that they're only comfortable saying that out until 2034, will Social Security payments be made in full. At 2034, and it says very clearly in almost a direct quote off the website, unless Congress makes decisions, then we are going to reduce this to 80%.
That's funny. 2034 is the year I turned 62. What about that?
There you go, Michael. Congrats for paying in all that money all those years. You get 80%, not what we promised to be in with. And so I think that something will happen, right? I think if you start reducing Social Security benefits, there are real people in the economy that really, really need that money. And I think Social Security is the largest expense of our government. So you can look at that in two ways. It's the most important or it's the easiest one to trim to get the biggest benefit on it. But I think that taking money away from old people is a tough. Careful what I say. You get the point. I didn't mean
step
it
away,
way.
step away.
Politically, that was not put well. I understand that. So yeah, and then I'll make kind of the pushback point. So a lot of people in the comments, and I will come back and I'll refute this, are, hey, if you're 62, for anything over $24,000 a year right now in earned income from a wage, so not investment income, meaning like an actual job earning $24,000, the government will reduce your benefit by $1 for every $2 earned, which is true. So people are like, hey, I don't want to, now I'm taking it at 62. I'm still working and I'm giving away a lot of my benefit. That throws your math off totally, Taylor. Well, the reality on this is that what they don't mention is that when you turn 67, you catch up for everything you didn't get paid. So the monthly payment is a catch-up device then. And all of a sudden you get paid out what you would have had you gotten the full, and you're not because you're making too much money. So that is a moot point as well. We run a lot of financial plans in the business that I'm in. I run a wealth advisory firm. So we do the investments. We also run the financial plans. And there are very, very, very few instances when 62 is not the right answer.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because, again, if you just step back and look at yourself personally, not financial advice, I look at myself, the answer is 62. And again, it's not because I need the money. It's because I could put that money to work and I will never catch up. I mean, that was such an eye-opening kind of gotcha. And I didn't expect it, honestly. I'm like, okay, great. Let's see what he's got to say. And I'm like, holy, I got to watch that again. Did I miss something?
Yeah. Because I'm usually a relatively conservative person too.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Conservative person's like push back benefits, continue, you'll get more money in the long. It's just that the math doesn't math ever.
Yeah. The math does. It does. Yeah. Never catching up ever. That should be eye-opening. Well, again, you do a lot of great stuff each and every day on Instagram, TikTok, and the like. Where can people find you?
Yeah, our username there is @LifeGoalInvestments.
You're amazing, man. Take care of yourself. Have a great week.
Appreciate you, Michael.
Mm-hmm.